Good afternoon, everybody. I hope y'all are well. I know it's been a couple of weeks. I've been really busy. I have been knitting my fingers off. I believe in my last video I showed you I knitted 40 hats, baby hats for preemies and newborns that are going to 2 hospitals here in the Dallas area. I will be delivering those in person this coming Monday to those 2 hospitals. And in my correspondence with Mad Hatter Knits, they requested another set of hats for March of Dimes. Now, the March of Dimes do specific events, and like they do Halloween, Christmas, Thanksgiving, and they want specific types of hats. In September, they are doing a book reading of Dr. Seuss' Cat in the Hat. So I was requested, and it's up to me if I want to do this or not, and I believe I can get them done. They requested 10 preemies and 30 newborn hats. So I've got the 10 preemies finished. And I am now working on the 30 newborn hats. There we go. Anyway, I'm working on 30 of these, and if I do 2 to 3 hats per day, I can get them done in the time slot provided and get them finished and sent to where they need to go and get them done. In all of my videos, I am leaving the link for Mad Hatter Knits in the description so that if you want to be involved in Mad Hatter Knits, it is a nonprofit organization that knits hats for preemies and newborns. So, and especially the preemies, my heart is really out there for the preemies. My son, who is now 43 years old, he was a preemie. He was 8 weeks old. He was in the hospital his first 4 to 6 weeks. And we almost lost him a couple of times during that time. So I understand what parents are dealing with when they say their baby is a preemie and they have to leave them in the hospital, and external things happen to that child. They're in an incubator sometimes. Things happen. Sometimes you can't hold your child for 2 to 3 weeks after they're born. Sometimes they have tubes in their chest or tubes down their nose or down their throat and things like that. It's very upsetting for the parents. So having a little gift like a hat, maybe it doesn't seem like much and it doesn't sound like much at first, but it does go a long way. Trust me, it would go a long way to know that somebody cared to make a handcrafted something to give to that child to say, I care about you, I'm thinking about you, and maybe even go to so far as to say, I'm praying for you. Because it's not easy for the parents to have to leave that child where they are. Anyway, that was just a side note. So anyway, I'm doing the Mad Hatter Knits. I have been so busy on that. My wrists, my hands, they're getting sore, but I'm keeping on. So anyway, in between the knitted hats, my daughter has requested some things from me as well. And these things that I'm doing for my daughter, these are not patterns that I am allowed to sell. They are on Ravelry. Thank you. Sorry about that. I found them on Ravelry, and most of the patterns say, please do not resell. Please do not use this pattern for resale. Do not, if you crochet this, do not sell the animal or whatever it is you're making. Please do not use this for your personal purposes like that. So I'm doing these little animals as people are requesting them for gifts. So that's what I'm doing because I've got the yarn anyway, and I don't mind using it up. So the one thing that I found on Ravelry, this is Lily the capybara. Isn't she cute? And yes, I need to change the color on her bow to match her dress. I've got plenty of this orange. The tan and the dark brown and the white is Big Twist yarn. The orange is from Hobby Lobby. It's I Love This Yarn Sport Weight. It was sport weight yarn. It's very soft, very lovely, great to work with. This was a very easy little girl to put together, I'm telling you. And she's supposed to have a backpack, but we decided not to do the backpack. If I do the backpack, it will be white like the scarf. But I just think she is absolutely cotton picking adorable. Look how cute she is. And it didn't take as very long to make her. I never thought I would be good at amigurumi, but here it is. She came together quite nicely, and I'm really kind of proud of her. And I showed a picture of her to my daughter, and my daughter just loves her. So then someone in my quilt group wanted to know if someone could crochet a little bluebird. And I said, well, I probably could. Let me see if I can find a pattern. So I looked and looked and looked. And I found a pattern, and come to find out this is for an infant. So instead of doing the safety eyes, I embroidered the eyes on the little bird. And this is called Bitty Bird. So there's his or her wings and her little tail. This was so cute. This took me like a little afternoon to make. Little feet. So easy to make. Just, amigurumi is not as difficult as I was making it out to be in my mind, like most things. It just takes a bit of concentration. And like if you stop and concentrate on it and you take your time, you can do it. So that's what I've done with these. So there's my little bird. So the next thing my daughter would like is a mouse. And the one that she wants, there's a tutorial on YouTube. So Bitty Bird and Lily the Capybara, you can find both of them on Ravelry. And if I can find the links I will share the links to those in my description box, so that if you want to go find them or something similar to that, you're welcome to go do that. Now to get down to excuse me, goodness. So now to get down to the purpose of this video, I am doing a new series. It's all about yarn. It's all about yarn. Well, of course it is. This is a crochet knitting channel, right? Well, but my new series is about yarn weights. There are 8 different yarn weights, okay? Believe it or not, there are 8 different yarn weights. Okay, what are these yarn weights? This week, we are going to speak about 0 and, well, we're going to talk about 2 yarn weights, 0 and 1. 0 is lace weight. Okay, so what is lace weight yarn? What does it look like? Well, have you ever been to the store and you've seen these types of spools of crochet thread? And oh my goodness, they are so thin. Now, this is a number 10. This right here is a number 10. And my favorite of these is a number 3. Look how thin that is. That is so tiny. So tiny. I can work with this, but I have a really difficult time with it. Now, let me show you what this number 10 thread looks like when it's worked up. Do you remember the old doilies back in the day? Maybe you went to your grandma's house or great-grandma's house, and you saw these really pretty lacy things all over the furniture. This is what that number 10 thread does. Look at how beautifully that works up. Look at this. Now, these doilies that I'm showing you, my husband's either mom or grandma, mother or grandmother, crocheted these. Okay, I've got some more. I've got them in colors too. Hang on. Hang on to your hat, girls or people. Look at this. Look at this one. Look at the detail in there. See this pineapple pattern? Look at that pineapple pattern. Look at the beautiful little flower in the middle. Is this not gorgeous or what? And I've had all of these doilies. Look at this beautiful little star doily. Look at that. Is that just gorgeousness? And it's been sprayed or washed with something because it's actually a little bit stiff. That would lay on a table so nicely. I'm going to get a little closer so you can see some of the details there. But look at the delicate stitches in there. That is just, oh my goodness. Okay, and here's one for like an end table or a coffee table or something. This one right here, I actually had laying in the middle of my coffee table in my living room when I had enough room for that. And I had one candle on each end and my Bible laying right in the middle of that. And it just made a beautiful display. And then at Christmas, I would decorate it up and everything. Here's another one. Look at the beautiful detail in that. Look at just look at the tiny stitches. Just those tiny stitches are amazing to me. Okay, here comes another one. Look at this. Look at these patterns and these stitches. Now that was a tiny hook. That had to have been a 0 or a 00 hook. And in just a minute, I'm going to tell you what size hooks to use with these teeny tiny yarns. And here are two that are exactly alike. And these both have the same pattern. So you would use these for like end tables, matching end tables or something, maybe in your bedroom or your living room or something like that. And look at the detail on that. Is that just gorgeous or what? That is just amazing to me. I'm going to get that up a little bit closer so you can see some of the details. Is that amazing or what? Anyway, so there are the doilies. Let me get all that noise turned off there. Okay, so what else would you make with lace weight? It's also called fingering weight. So you can make lacy shawls, delicate items. So one of the things that I make, and instead of the number 3 weight, instead of the number 3 thread, I try to find the number 10 thread. I find the number 10 because the number 10 is it's a bigger thread. It's between, let's see, it's almost this size, but not quite. Anyway, so here it is. And here's what I do with this. I make a snood for my hair because my hair is, as you can see, is really long. So I make a snood. I put a little bit of elastic in there to hold my hair up. And then I glued it to a hair barrette. And then found a really pretty bow to put on it. I actually made this for a wedding, but I still wear it from time to time when I want to dress up for church and that type of thing. I also have a black one that I wear from time to time. I'm in the process of making a red one. I need to find some red roses or a bow or flowers or something for my red one. But anyway, here is this one. So, and this is a number 3 thread. You can see that it is larger. That thread is larger. And I have a specific pattern that I follow for this that I found online. So there's all kinds of things that you can make with your lace weight. You can do shawls, snoods, doilies. There is a, let me see, let me find my notes here. Okay, in freevintagecrochet.com, I went and did some snooping around and some research and stuff. Now, in this freevintagecrochet.com, there were some questions asked about the doilies. Are they worth keeping? If you go to www.antiques.com, and I'm going to share all these links in the description. If you go to antiques.com, you can send pictures of your doilies, and the people in that website will speak with you about the doilies that you have, and they can tell you the type of doily it is, the age of the doily, and how to care for that doily. Create an account for yourself, and you can chat for free and all that. There are other types of antiques as well. To antiquers.com, www.antiquers.com, and they can chat with you regarding your doilies. Okay. The other place I went and did some reading and research is pieceworkmagazine.com. There was an article of the history of doilies, which I found was pretty interesting because I wanted to know too. It's like, why have doilies? They're dust collectors. They're kind of pretty and everything, but who even uses them anymore? You know, like, what's the deal with this? But the article was on the history, the popularity, and the waning. So it goes through the whole thing, how they got started, how they grew popular, and now they're not as popular anymore, and the different techniques about how to make them, and what people are doing with them now, which a lot of people now are incorporating their doilies into quilts. So if you want to clean them up and add them to your fabric and make quilts out of them, you can do that too. Another site I found, because I like to make snoods, and I don't want to just make the small ones. I would like to make one that goes all the way on the back of my head to fit my full head. And I've been wanting a pattern for that. So if you Google snoods, a snood is a bag-like or net-like fabric pouch that women wear on the back of their head to hold your hair in place. They have been in the use since the medieval times. They were very popular back in the 1940s. They were also very, very popular and absolutely beautiful if you look them up during Civil War times. If you've ever watched the Civil War movies, you know how pretty they were on the ladies' heads, and they always had the big bows on them and all the stuff. They were just gorgeous. And sometimes it looked like they had little jewels in them, or whatever. They were sparkly sometimes and things. And they went absolutely beautiful with the dresses that the women wore back then. But the two times that I understand they were most popular, well, the three times were medieval times, during the Civil War, and in the 1940s. The reason they were popular in the 1940s is because women wore them when they went to work in the factories. They had to wear them in the factories so their hair didn't get caught in the machinery and things like that. So now, modern day, why would anyone wear a snood now? Well, for aesthetics. Dancers will wear a small snood or something in their hair for a bun. If you've ever seen the ballet dancers, they have to keep their hair up and tight in a bun, and a small snood will go a long way to keep that bun in place. The most common types of snoods are the crochet, traditional open weave to secure updos and buns. And that's about all I have on that. Again, I am going to put all those links in the description so you can go look those up for yourselves and read the history and things on the snoods. Now, here's the thing. You have this little bitty, teeny tiny yarn. What size hook am I going to use with that? Oh my goodness. What size hook? Am I going to use knitting needles? What am I going to use with this? Well, okay. Well, it depends on what size hook I use, of course. The gauge range for a single crochet up to 4 inches is 32 to 42 double crochets. The recommended hook in metric is 1.4 to 1.6 millimeter, or a 2.25 regular hook. In the U.S. hooks, it is a size 6, 7, or 8, or a size B hook. So you want a really small hook for these. But if you're going to crochet, you want a really tiny hook. If you're going to knit, you probably want a size 0 or a size 1 knitting needle. Okay. So that's your lace weight yarn. There are other ladies on YouTube who do a lot of lace work. One in particular that I know of, her name is Shannon, and her channel is called Another Yarn. She does a ton of knitting, and the lace weight yarn is probably her favorite. She uses that probably more than any of the other ones. Okay, so that's it for the lace weight yarn. So if you're going to use a steel hook, use a 6, a 7, or an 8. If you use a regular size hook, use a size B. If you are using a knitting needle, use a 0 or a 1 at the largest, probably. So that is it for the lace weight yarn. Next week, sock yarn. We're going to do super fine sock yarn. All right, and we're going to talk about socks. Actually, these doilies, I need to learn how to launder these and to care for these so they get their original color back, because I think some of them have darkened a little bit or whatever. I need to learn how to launder them. I want to get them cleaned up, and I would like to incorporate this into a quilt. So, because they are my husband's grandmother, I believe his mother and grandmother, his mom made part of them, his grandmother made part of them. And I would like to preserve them and have them so I can pass them down to some of my children. So there's that. Anyway, I believe that's all. Again. Anyway, next week we are going to talk about sock yarn. It's called Superfine #1 sock yarn. Next week. I will see you in the next video. Y'all have a great weekend. Bye.